Heal your heart. I just wanna heal your heart. I just wanna heal your heart. I just wanna heal your heart. I just wanna. I play the bass line, I never waste time. A lot of people broke, so they try to waste mine. Don't waste your mind or waste your time. All guys that think you too petite, your waist fine. Yo, you way too fine, girl, just the way you are. You a queen and you a diamond, play your card. Yo, tight, mason jar, I'm rhyming for A&Rs. Ride up to a standstill here, take a charge. I'm in, take a card, killer hurts, take a car. Hungry just to rap and it's having to save a bar. Not just try to make it, I'm trying to make it far. Don't gas me up, although that's what makes a star. That gas will take you far. Heal your heart, I'm just trying to heal your heart.
You're listening to Mustang Radio here on 91.3 FM KWWM, Western Wyoming Community College, Rock Springs, Wyoming. I am your host, Braden Conover, joined by my wonderful co-host,
Hello, Days. And we have a very special guest on the show today. With EsCargo is on the line, and for those of you who don't know him, he's a 31-year-old hip-hop artist currently living outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and he's been catching some buzz online with his boom bap type style. What's good, man?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
So, you ready to get into this?
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
bet. Let's do it. So, have you lived in Massachusetts your whole life?
Pretty much. Was actually born in China. Moved over to Oregon when my mom and dad were going to school.
Cool.
And then about like 4 or 5, moved over here to Boston. And that's where I've been since.
Sick. So, what was
Yeah.
what was it like growing up there?
In Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, my parents were just immigrants, so it was just kind of like that mentality.
Uh huh.
You know what I mean? It wasn't. They were just trying to move on up to get me to a better school.
For sure.
Every time, you know, so, but I don't know, I just fell in love with hip-hop when I was like 5, 6, you know?
Yeah.
So it's always been part of me, yeah.
Uh-huh. For sure.
But yeah, I gotta tell you guys, thank you guys so much. You guys are so supportive and just really always rocking with me, so I really, I think the thing is when I'm getting hit up in the DMs,
Uh-huh.
I'm always kind of wondering what this person's, like, ulterior motive is, you know?
Uh-huh.
But, like, I just, I think just, ended up following you guys, and you guys, I know you guys genuinely rock with me. You know what I mean? It's not
Oh,
like
yeah.
you kind of
yeah.
like use me. Yeah, you know, use me for some type of stepping stone or whatever. Like some of these guys,
Uh-huh.
that's the whole purpose. You know?
Yeah.
absolutely.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, I remember like when you did a promotion for Heal Your Heart a couple like 3 or 4 months ago. Like I usually don't like even pay attention to those when I see those, but like I just saw yours and I was like, oh no, like this guy's got some talent, and I just
Thank you, man.
and I started peeping your music and I was like, yep,
We
that's
gotta
for
have 'em.
sure. And then just like listen to you, and then just through the months I was like just checking your account and it just kept growing, and I was like, dude, I gotta get this guy in the studio before he blows up.
Thank you, man.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of like shocked that I didn't really think like I was running these ads, and I just thought it was kind of like I just want to test it out, you know.
yeah.
I really had no idea it was going to be this kind of response, you know. But
For sure.
Well, we're happy to be
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, man.
So how would you describe like the hip hop scene in Boston?
I would definitely say there's like I'm kind of older here, so a lot
Yeah.
of the guys that are older here, they're definitely more boom bap oriented.
Yeah.
There's definitely some young kids that are into it too, but then there's a lot of young kids that are more into like the trap sound
Yeah.
and kind of like the new wave, maybe some auto tune in there too.
Uh-huh.
It's just kind of it's a little bit just mixed. It's not. I just think that to a certain degree. I mean, maybe that's what it is like in New York too. You know, like New York is kind of there's some old school hip hop heads, and there's some kind of like people like Young M.A. or whoever trying to like fit in with the new, you know, A Boogie with the hoodie.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of like they're not. It's not so kind of like okay, this is just a strictly boom bap channel or whatever.
For sure, like
You know.
like people like Michael Christmas and like Cousin Stiz.
Exactly.
Yeah. For
I
sure.
would say Stiz is kind of more on his Gucci Mane tip, where
Yeah.
Chris is more on his boom bap, goofy,
Uh-huh.
class clown type of thing, you know?
Uh-huh. So like when
Yeah.
so I checked like their ages and stuff. So you're probably like 5 or 6 years older than both of them. So did you kind of
Exactly.
like witness their come up as you were rapping as well and like trying to get started?
Yeah, I was actually at Christmas's first
I
show at the Middle East when that was his first show ever because he had just blew up off of I forget what the song was. It was like him just eating like a hot pocket.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. He was talking about just like sending nudes to girls or whatever on his phone.
Uh-huh.
Like he just blew up off of that video and a couple other videos.
I think
I was just kind of
was it Daily?
go ahead.
Is that the song?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The next video hitting was that popped up too, and it was kind of like a buzz around it. And I caught the first show. It was crazy. It was I think I was kind of just doing my own research at the time. I don't think I was ready to really put myself out there.
Uh-huh.
I was kind of just watching his manager, who was Tim LaRue.
Yeah.
Just kind of like Tim LaRue also picked up on Cousin Stiz, and I think they're all just kind of running around right now, you know.
Uh-huh.
But Tim LaRue was kind of just doing his thing where he was doing. I remember 2012, he did like the 12 best MCs in Boston, so it was like 12 for 12.
Yeah.
He posted that on YouTube. You guys can check it out. Whatever. It's like a site for a circle. You know, just a bunch of cats in there. There's a bunch of talented artists in there that were rapping, but Michael Christmas and Stiz were not in there. They found them like afterwards, but I think he was kind of just Tim LaRue was kind of really connected, and he just kind of I was just trying to figure out his plan. You know, just kind of like marketing music.
Yeah.
So I think from watching him, I'm not totally sure what they did with that. It's just more. I mean, I think it's much easier now. Just with even with me, I just kind of really grew this out of Instagram ads. You know, it wasn't really. I needed a manager or anything like that.
Sure.
But yeah.
And then, like you said before, like around age 6, you started getting into hip hop. And then I saw in like your Facebook bio, you said that the first big rap song that inspired you was "Rapper's Delight" by Sugar Hill Gang. So
exactly. If you guys are doing your research, man, you guys are crazy.
Hey, I have to.
Yeah.
I can't come into this not knowing nothing. But so like, what do you think it was about that song that sparked your interest in rap music?
I think I just naturally gravitated towards that kind of 4/4. It was. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't just that song. It was like whatever was playing on. We had this radio station, Jam 94.5, was just our. At the time, it was just anything for hip hop, anything for R&B.
For sure.
So it was like, at the time, I think they played it one night or whatever. But I want to say it was my first song because I remember I just had a tape. We had a cassette player or whatever, and we had a cassette player or whatever, and I just taped it, and that was what I recall first hearing. But it was probably Biggie was in there too. A bunch of the R&B artists like Aaliyah, Next Too Close. Soul for Real, just like that Timberland sound that was there.
Yeah.
That's what the LL Cool. Yeah.
For sure. And then you said you first started rapping in middle school, and you would like participate in talent shows and rap battles. So tell us a little more about that.
I was about 11 at that time when I started writing.
Hey.
I was just kind of So yeah, you think about it, it's 20 years of rapping,
Yeah.
So I think people just kind of But at the time, I think I just heard just Biggie, Will Smith at the time because my parents weren't trying to spend any money, so it was just really whatever I could hear on the radio.
Yeah.
So Biggie, Will Smith, some Eminem, and then just going from there. I kind of moved my way backwards, like hearing that, and then diving into whatever is older, like the G rap. I think I'm just at the time I was just trying to, in middle school and then in high school, I just cared about the technical part, just like trying to get the syllables down, as many syllables as I could do, like that kind of whole, you know, rhyme listen to Prime Minister, you know what I mean? Just kind of like making sure
You're spitting.
yeah, just kind of like making sure I knew that. It's more like I would my analogy would be kind of like, as an actor, I wanted to memorize my lines so that when I actually went and performed it, I could kind of like really get into the acting part.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, okay, I just want to be able to like know what rhyme with what, so that I could actually later on I could really just use. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like, it would just be kind of like in my arsenal to kind of just whatever I wanted to say, I'd be able to say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm curious,
like
like,
that,
did you ever win any talent shows?
No, they were just more about. I don't think there was a competition there.
Oh, I see.
Those shows, it was just more just like, if you wanted to sign up, you sign up, you performed.
I see.
You know, yeah.
For sure. What was high school like?
It was cool. We had a bunch of my friends. So basically, I had a group of friends in middle school. We were just playing basketball all the time. They really put me on, like, one friend there, Max. He ended up like producer for a group later on in high school with this other kid, and then they went on to do a couple things after college or whatever. But he really put me on. I remember just on the bus, we were just playing basketball, and he'd be like, "Yo, check this out," because at the time all I really knew was on the radio. He showed me like Jizz the Liquid Swords, and I was like blown away. I was like, I'm never going back, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, and then in high school there was him, a couple of the kids we were just always kind of meeting during lunch or whatever, just to kick it and talk about new projects coming out, whatever, Moral Technique, just new Wu-Tang, new Nas, whatever it was, you know.
For sure.
And just kind of like, yeah. So it was just pretty much that, you know.
So like, I guess during like the period of like high school to college, I know, like I read in your bio, like you said, you started getting really into lyrics and like, you know, poetry and stuff like that. So like, were you writing songs like all the way from high school to college, or when did you start writing?
Yeah, I think at the time I was just kind of, I would just take beats from DJ Premier, Pete Rock, and I would just write my own songs to them. I think a lot of times, again, I think I was just so focused on the technical part, I wasn't really making much sense in my songs. It was just more about rhyming as many syllables as I could. But I think that in college, I ended up going to Wisconsin. And that's when I think that it was kind of a culture shock to me. And then certain things happened in my life. My parents got divorced. It was just, I think I had to go through certain things in life to really become the person. Because I think at the time I was just going through the motions in high school. But then college came, and I really, certain things happened, and I just really had to develop my own values and who I am as a man, you know?
For sure.
I think that's where, I started taking, of course, like psychology classes, sociology, and just kind of really it just kind of shaped me in terms of like what my thought process is now in terms of just my life perspective. So I think that that's what really allowed me to write certain songs, you know, or else I would just be kind of BSing, you know what I mean? It would just be more just rapping about nothing, you know, and just, I think that was the best. It was kind of a blessing in disguise to go through certain things, but with that, you kind of just have more to talk about.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Just really, you know.
So what would you say like your first early success was?
In terms of what, like
just like posting a song and getting a lot of reactions, or like?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't. I posted. I mean, just around high school or college, I would just post for my friends. But I literally did not start until like last year.
I see.
You know what I mean? So I literally kept like what you guys hear from the Rich Beggar. I wrote that in 2016.
Oh dang.
You know what I mean? So yeah. So and then I have other albums that I'm just waiting just to record them. They're already written. All the beats are done. 2017, summer from 2015. I just my whole thing was just more I was going to the studio. All right, so I'm working in 95, and I was going to the studio sometimes at night, sometimes on the weekend. And I think for me, it was just more, I get in there, I might record one song, and I bring it back home. I wasn't feeling it. So I have to wait another week just to record it, you know what I mean? And then sometimes it wouldn't be what I thought it was. It wouldn't match the energy of the rest of the album. And I think after a while, I was just like, let me just save up enough money so I can just record at home and just learn mixing, mastering, everything myself.
For sure.
So that's what happened, and then I'm able to kind of put out a lot more. That's why you see me putting out like all this. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people might take a little longer. I'm just trying to put out as much as I can right now. You know.
And I think like what a lot of people like don't realize is it's not like make a song and post it the second after. It's not like you got a vault of songs that you're ready to post. Like if you're feeling that track, you know, some tracks get lost. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And used to go by Willard L, isn't that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what made you make the change to Will EsCargo?
How did you guys even know that, man?
just doing my research.
Okay. I think for me, it just didn't roll. I think it was just more a lot of, I don't know, it just didn't sound. It just sounded weird, I think, the way people were saying it. So I just I wanted something, I just wanted something with just Will, you know?
Yeah. And then
yeah.
And then also like one of your beat tags is from the song "Hypnotized" by Notorious B.I.G. So you said that also kind of had a little bit to do with it as well.
Yeah, just EsCargo, my cargo, 160 swiftly. You know what I mean? But I think I was just kind of going with Will, and then whatever it was like Will Dorado, Will Finestro, Will, but you know what I mean? And then finally I just landed on EsCargo, and one day I just tagged that on a do not enter sign, which is my avatar or whatever. I took a picture of it, and I just went with that because it looked cool. I cared about. I think at the time I really wanted something that I could tag that looked cool. And then EsCargo was it, you know what I mean? And I was gonna go by like just at the end on the O at the end I put an X through it, and I was like, yo, I might do something where like my fans are like the X-Men, you know what I mean, or like my group is like the X-Men, you know what I mean? So something like that. I was like, that looks cool, you know.
So tell us a little bit more.
I've never even eaten snails before, so you know what I mean. It's not that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you. Tell us a little bit more about the Do Not Enter logo. Like, what does that mean, or like?
It was just one day, like I just saw that and I wanted to put my tag my last name in.
I see.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was just kind of like spontaneous or whatever.
For sure. And then tell us about bong rips and DVDs.
That's my boy. Who's that?
Yeah.
We actually linked up in college in 2012, and at the time I just wanted to make beats. You know, I think I wanted to make beats. I wasn't too ready to just release music yet, like by myself. So I just we just hooked up at college, and we're still friends. We're probably gonna get in the studio soon and do a track or whatever.
For sure.
And then so that's my man right there. He just had another kid. He named him Nazir. He named the kid Nazir. So shout out to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So your debut music video for the song "Family Guy" has over 12,000 views on YouTube. How does that feel?
Yeah, that feels great. I think I did try to run Fiverr on that song. That's why I think it got to that point. It wasn't supposed to be that high, you know. But I was just trying to figure out ways to promote, just get my stuff in front of people.
For sure.
And that's more or less what it was. I don't think it's accurate in terms of like organic views, you know. Yeah. So sorry to disappoint you guys, you know.
So how did the like Grandma Shrunken Pajamas like idea come from?
That was just kind of. I think it just came from me rapping. That was just one day at the studio. I wanted to do like a little bit of a skit, just like a goofball type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite rappers was Sean Price.
Uh-huh.
Rest in peace. And he was just he was I think he was a comedic genius when it came to rapping.
Uh-huh.
So it was just more like, oh, let me just try to, just take some from him and just do that. So that's what it was, dude.
For sure.
Yeah.
So how did you get your grandmas to agree to be in the music video?
They were just ready to do whatever for me. They loved me so much, you know what I mean? So I just kind of took advantage of that.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, the first one you see is my mom's mom. The second one you see is my dad's mom.
Uh-huh.
And I asked them beforehand. I'm like, can you please just yell at me on stage? My dad's grandma would not, and my dad's mom would not do it. She's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then but my mom's mom, yeah, I'll do that.
That's
so
funny.
I was like, all right, we're doing this. Yeah. And then yeah, she gave me the finger and all that, So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your creative process like when you're making your music?
Most of the time I just all right, so I started rapping when I was 11. I started making beats when I was about 18.
Mm-hmm.
Started with Fruity Loops, and I went to Reason.
Hey.
And I still sometimes use Fruity Loops if it's just like a loop.
Uh-huh.
Most of the time I just I have over like 5,000 records.
Dang.
But I still want to sample, so I take the record. I think for me, making beats is a lot easier than writing. Because I think for me, I want to like conceptualize a song, or I want to, to tie in a theme or whatever. So it'll take me like a week, 2 weeks, sometimes a month to write a song. But for me, a beat is just really, I hear something nice on a vinyl record, and I bring it into the computer, and I chop it up into like 30 pieces,
Uh-huh.
30 slices, and then I'll just play it out on the Akai MPD into Reason, kind of like Premiere, kind of like P-Rock, Alchemist, whatever,
Uh-huh.
And then I'll keep messing around with it until I find, a loop or a pattern that I really like. And then a lot of times, sometimes it takes me 15 minutes to do that. Sometimes it takes me an hour or whatever. But I'm telling you, when I first started versus now it's like when I first started, I gotta be honest with you, like maybe out of 10 beats, I thought that one was kind of like maybe good enough or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Now it's more like 7, 8, and then 7, 8,
Hey.
10, whatever. That's just me personally, obviously. But I think that, for the most part, people are definitely rocking with my beats too. So it's not like I'm delusional, But
Oh yeah.
I think, yeah.
So I also I produce as well, and I sample records. So I was wondering about your opinion, who are some names to look out for when you're go to the record store and trying to find some vinyl.
Word. I definitely like the moments. I mean, I'm definitely like a soulful jazz.
Uh-huh.
I would just definitely recommend. I mean, I think Alchemist,
Yeah.
Premier's talking about this, but 1971, 1972 to 1976, 1977, whatever soul records, soul section you can get your hands on,
Uh-huh.
those to me are like the purest instrument sounds,
Uh-huh.
So I think that after in the late 70s, early 80s, it was transitioning to more like electronic sound.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's bad or anything. I think for me, I prefer that kind of organic string or organic type of piano, whatever it was,
Yeah, for sure.
And I think at the time they were definitely playing. It just sounded so much more soulful with that. Like, all right, so the moments, the main ingredient, Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Hey.
What else is there? I really like the Undisputed Truth.
Uh-huh.
Millie Jackson.
Hey.
These are all just soul artists.
Uh-huh.
And of course, like Barry White. I think the thing is with like the Barry White is like he's got the Love Unlimited Orchestra or whatever. But with those records, a lot of times for me, it's obviously not to use the records in the same way, that it was used in like before,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those. Yeah. Go ahead.
For sure. And then I noticed like you have a pretty solid fan base, which is awesome. Like a lot of people like a lot of positive comments on your posts, and like even people were saying like when you make it big, like saying that kind of stuff, like well, yada yada.
Yeah.
So what does it feel like to have like other people have that level of confidence in you?
I'm just I'm shocked, man. I'm really shocked. I just I don't know. I think that I'm just in my head. I think when I was younger, I was kind of just more. I wanted to be like star or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I think that
Yeah.
as I gotten older, it was just kind of like I don't just seeing all these paparazzi going like just beast on Kanye. I don't even want to deal with that, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, I just personally for me like I don't really want to work a 9 to 5 anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to like just have a 9 to 5 anymore the rest of my life, and just I know that I love this art. Like I love hip hop, and I realized I think that's what it was to really motivate me to get to this point, to put out my stuff and really just push it, because it's not something where it's like I think a lot of people want to be rappers for like a reason, you know what I mean, to get girls or to get whatever, to buy certain things or to get into the industry, to appear to be a rapper, you know.
Uh-huh.
I think that for me, maybe when I was younger, I saw the MC and I'm like, oh, I want to be that guy. But I think that as I've kind of like just really started writing and really started making beats, to me, it's just more about I just love this art form too much, you know.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
to me, it's just like it's such a beautiful art form, like sampling soul records. Like just think, like I can just listen to Pete Rock, Pete Instrumentals, the Main Ingredients, and just like Gangstar albums. I can just listen to that on repeat. You know what I mean? Illmatic, I can listen to that for a month on repeat. You know, Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, same thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's really just the art form. I love that. You know.
For
Wow.
sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
what kind of advice would you give to other artists who are struggling to get their fan base going or trying to find who they are in this this category of art, as you're saying?
Totally. I mean, I'll be honest with you. At this point, I am kind of trying to not really switch up my styles like that, but expand.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not going I don't plan on just being boom bap. I almost want to do some more neo soul type of, or just even just whatever, just maybe make it more modern, but just with a more boom bap sound, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think just growing like that. But yeah, going back to your question, I think the thing was for me when I first started, like I first really started writing and making the beats and showing to my friends when I was like 21, 22.
Uh-huh.
And I was just kind of showing my friends, and I think the thing was I just wanted to get some feedback to see where I was. And to them, like they were like, "Yo, this is great, dude. You know, and like you should totally put this out."
Uh-huh.
But for me, it was a lot of times I would kind of make a beat and write like 2 verses and half a hook, and it wasn't ever finished, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I think that one thing is really just really work on, like, I think the whole 10,000 hours thing is so true. It's just like you just got to work on your craft. Like when you hear me rap, it's like that's 20 years of rapping.
Yeah.
I didn't just pick up a pen. It's like I really like writing. Like
That's crazy.
Like for the past 5 years, I've been at this 9 to 5, but taking a bus, and literally it's a 1.5 hour commute or whatever, and all I'm doing, like people don't see it, but I just make a beat at home. Takes you 15 minutes, an hour, or like maybe one night I make a beat, and I just take that beat, listen to it on the bus, and just writing. You know what I mean? So it's just like that's 3 hours of writing every day. Like at a certain point, I'm just gonna get better and better and better. You know?
Oh, for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like, not trying to rag, but it's just I feel like a lot of the kids these days, they just want things overnight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or they just they're not ready to put in the work like that.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes it's a lot for show. And I think the thing is, don't do it for the. You know what I mean? If you're doing it for show, then you're not. It's not the right reason. You're not really. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Mm-hmm.
I think you really gotta love it. And I think that's where it's like I really love this thing. You know what I mean? So like that's what you can hear. That's because it's not just I'm just gonna. And I'm also looking at like how can I tweak this to get better?
Yeah.
How can I? You know what I mean? How can I kind of fit my flow better so it fits better in pocket or whatever. Or it's like, yeah. So I think the thing is, I've been telling certain kids, younger kids, they come in my DMs like, yo, can you listen to my stuff? What advice can you give me? And my whole thing is, I know they're looking up to me or whatever, but I'm telling them, like, I'm not God and I'm not the market. What you want to do is test it out on the market, and if they like it, right? So, like, you go make a beat, you go find a beat, you rap on a beat, you put it out for the people to respond to.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing is, like, don't just get your family and friends. You know what I mean? Because they sometimes might have a bias. They might tell you, oh yeah, you're doing a great job. But that's not what, that's not going to be the people out there.
Yeah.
I think that's where you want to get it out to really, it's almost, at this point, it's like testing out your product, if people want to buy your product or not. I think that I started really looking into the business side of it, and like that's where, it really is a music business, right?
For sure.
It's not, like I can love the art, but I also have to figure out like, what is, like, I've been looking at it too, like, who, like, the way I'm kind of running these ads is kind of like, who am I marketing these to, right? So it's like I'm marketing this to 18 to even 40-year-olds, and then just what are their interests in, like, Nas, Wu-Tang, Common, Black Star,
Yeah.
And then, just kind of like that. It's that's where I've been kind of just getting a lot of people to kind of. It's crazy too. Like Pete Rock, said, like, told me I was doing a good job.
Yeah, I saw that on.
Like a lot of these, yeah. It's just surreal to me that happened.
That's crazy.
Definitely other, yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and then even Mosway from Higher Brothers saw it and he reached out. It's just. So I think I'm doing something right.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of, to me, I'm just shocked because to me, I don't feel like I'm like all that, you know what I mean? I'm not some super, I'm not some like Hollywood dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of
Right.
I mean.
Yeah, thank you for that advice. That's some great advice.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing is too is like if you're doing the trap thing, then figure out which artists are like you.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're trying to pick up people to really support your movement or whatever, it's like, it's like if I try to market myself to Taylor Swift fans, it wouldn't go too well,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Yeah.
And then I noticed you have a beat show on your Instagram, which I really enjoy. Is that something you plan to continue?
Man, I think right now I should, but I think I've been kind of more trying to just blow up on Spotify.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of. So I might start doing it again. I'll see. I'm just trying to. Right now, I think I'm just kind of focused on trying to get a song and figure out the Spotify algorithm.
Yeah.
Where it's like you get a song, you give them 4 weeks to kind of digest it, and then they might put into like editorial playlists or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that type of thing. I'm gonna try to do that until like I get into some, and then I'll start putting out my albums that I wrote 2 or 3 years ago, or whatever. Yeah, I think so. I might just you guys asking that, I might do one in the near future.
Hey.
I'll just send my old beats or whatever. I'll just show. Yeah, because I know people like that too. I think that I think the reason too is like back in 2012, my whole thing was, all right, I probably just want to make beats. I don't really want my face to get shown. I think that's where I just you know what I mean. At the time, I really didn't want to like just. I wanted to pull an MF Doom or something. I wanted like that privacy,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the thing was with the beats, it's just like you have to get placements, or else who's gonna buy your? How are you gonna make money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of like you might have to get known or whatever. But I figured, all right, if I start rapping over my beats, at least people see my. I guess people get to know the entity too, and I'll be able to get publishing on and just the royalties on both the rapping and the beats. So I think that was my process at the time. Was just, all right, if I can rap on my beats and people want to hear the raps, then I can tour. But if I'm just making beats, I can't tour. I can't perform. I can't get that check.
Yeah.
I have to get on like, such and such rappers' albums to get money.
And I think like also in the music industry, you know, it's very unlikely for you just to be a rapper or you just to be a producer. You know, you need to find people or like find different things that make you valuable. You need to be valuable to other people.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. So,
yeah, like and the thing, yeah, you just pointed out too. It's like I was thinking about it too. It's like even if I do try and get into the industry as a rapper producer, I might even transition to something else afterwards. Right? Like we all like think about Joe Budden. You know what I mean? He's now just he's a host. You know. But he has a lot of fans like that too. So.
For sure. And then you made a beat tape back in 2018 called "Shut Up and Jam," which was influenced by Charles Barkley. Where did that inspiration come from?
It was just I just figured the title was kind of slick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, just because again I wasn't rapping on it, so shut up and just jam these beats, you know. So yeah, that was kind of and I love Barkley, you know. So.
And then what about
like Barkley?
Oh yeah.
What about the video game?
I don't think I played it that much. Yeah, I didn't really play it that much. But you guys played it?
No, I just was just looking at it and I saw there was like a Shut Up and Jam video game, so I was like, oh, I got to look at this gameplay so I actually know what I'm talking about. But
yeah. I remember it when I was growing up. I just didn't really. I think I was playing more like NBA Jam or like the NBA Live, you know.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to produce that beat tape?
Some of those beats are old. I literally, I think for me, the reason why I put it out was because, well, one, I think at the time I was still thinking along the lines of let me try to make it as a producer first.
Yeah.
But then also, it was also just I wanted to get practice with the mixing. So that's kind of, it took me like a month though. It took me about a month. Man.
Hey, that's
crazy.
I was
going to do another one too. But yeah, appreciate it, man.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So what are the different like processes that you use when you do a sample?
So now I think when I'm looking for samples, I'm definitely looking for emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that I'm not trying to rag on boom bap. I just think that sometimes with boom bap, with certain sounds, it sounds cool. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes it might just be like one long chord, or one long note, right, and then just drums underneath it. And some of it sounds it's meant to be that way anyway, so it's cool. But I think for me at this point, I'm trying to find that kind of like sample that might. I think for me, like a lot of my friends call me like they say that I remind them of like Alchemist. And I think the reason is because I'm looking for those dark samples a lot of times, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm just looking for that kind of like stab someone at night type samples, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get away from that, honestly, just because I think that I realize too, like I'm not, as I've grown, I'm not like that. I'm not so much like that anymore. I think I'm trying to head more towards like Heal Your Heart, those type of samples.
Yeah.
It's more like kind of just so I think that just getting jazz samples, and I think just really just enough. And I think the thing is too, when you're looking for those samples, find enough notes in there, enough different notes in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that you can kind of play around with more when you bring it into the computer.
And I think it's like so crazy. Like you said, just one chord. Like in Reason, like with the NNXT, you can do all kinds of stuff. It's just so crazy. You can make so many different sounds with just one chord. It just is amazing.
Yeah. That's crazy. You use Reason too?
Oh yeah.
Okay, crazy. I figured like a lot of people are just on their Ableton Live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm using like the Doctor sample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy what kind of feelings those can spark.
Yeah, definitely.
So you talked about Mosway earlier, and you guys collabed on a track called Champion.
Yeah.
So what was it like working with him?
It was amazing, dude. I think he found me. He found one of my ads. I think the Smooth Butter one. And then he heard like Stupid Nice. He was like, "Oh, that's it right there." And then he reached out, and I was like, "What is going on?"
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah, this dude was it was literally it was just Mossway in the DMs, blue check mark, and just said, "Let's work." I'm like, "Oh my God, what just happened?" So yeah.
Yeah, that
So
track is tight.
I reached back out to him, and then he said, "It was like, yo, I'm gonna be in Boston in 3 days." I was like, "Yo, wow, the chances of this happening, me running an ad, and then you seeing it, and then you're starting your tour in Boston,
Yeah,
it's crazy, So, he
Can't even imagine.
He came, yeah, just such what a coincidence, what a good opportunity right there, And then so I reached out to him. I think there was a couple days he had off or whatever, so he was just like, "Yo, let me." I just quickly set up a studio session, and then we just got in there, booked a 4-hour session. He just kind of went off on the beat that I showed him. He was really feeling it, and then I had like a verse stored or whatever, so I just used that. But I just kind of like picked up some game from him. While I was there, we just kind of talked, and it was crazy. He has a Pete Rock tattoo on his forearm. You know what I mean? I was like, he was just telling, because it was just crazy how much of a hip hop head he's like. I grew up loving DJ Premier. I'm like, dude, man, say no more.
Wow.
This is yeah. So, I mean, now, he's definitely making more of like the modern trap.
Yeah.
But he's a real head. So I really, and I was like, yo, respect. And we just kept we just went in. It was an awesome experience. I just kind of picked his brain about the industry, him meeting certain people. Just like he's signed to like 88 Rising.
Yeah.
So like Rich Brian, going crazy, blowing up right now.
Yeah, they're huge.
A lot of those kids. Yeah, exactly. And he just told me to keep at it. Obviously, maybe you're gonna get bored of the boom bap, so maybe try to grow a little more. In terms of that, that was kind of his advice for me. And I'm definitely trying that. But I think that it was a great experience, just kind of like getting to know what else is out there. I'm kind of just like understanding like the process of like, I don't know, just how certain things work too. Just like I might not be able to make it that big in China. Because I'm not really rapping Chinese. I don't really know the slang like that,
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, if some Chinese artists were trying to come to America and try to, like, rap like this, they wouldn't understand, like, the lingo, It would sound off because the accent's off, too, but, yeah.
And like you said, you moved to Boston when you were, like, 4 or 5, so I'm guessing you didn't really pick up the language.
Yeah, I can still speak Mandarin with, I've been speaking Mandarin because my grandparents don't really, my grandma, they don't really speak English, so that was the best part of, like, just having them there so that I could still maintain the language.
Yeah.
Whereas I wouldn't be lost, whatever. And I definitely wasn't the kid that was like, I'm not going to speak Chinese anymore because I'm an American. I mean, some of the Chinese kids there, growing up, they were kind of like that or whatever, but I was like, no, I want to take this opportunity,
Mm-hmm. And I think it's like so valuable to be bilingual because I mean, just like with that experience with Mossway, like there could be the possibility that if you didn't even speak Chinese, then how would that might not even happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We mostly spoke in English.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
we still had that connection.
There are times we speak Chinese. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's things that I still understand about Chinese culture. You know what I mean? There's certain words in Chinese. There's no translation in English.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Mm.
So yeah, that was dope.
Tell us a little about Ill Self Records.
It was just a concept, just a kind of I was just trying to come up with a name for. I gotta be honest. I really kind of dove into the business part.
Yeah.
And just trying to have I think part of me, the reason was I wanted everything kind of like in-house for me, so that I wouldn't have to really need anybody. I mean, the only thing I really need is like videographers.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the thing was just I wanted to build everything. I set up an ASCAP for that too.
Mm-hmm.
It was a BMI, I forget which one, but I just set it up for Ill Self Records. Ill Self was just my whole concept of that started in 2014. It was just more about being the the illest version of yourself, or the being the best version of yourself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like the, and it sounds like Philadelphia or whatever. So it just kind of, yeah, that was kind of the idea, just being the, just, I mean, I think for me, I'm not trying to settle. You know what I mean? Like what I am today, I'm not going to be tomorrow. I'm trying to be more. You know. I think that's what iller self. I'm trying to I think that's the idea, just being the iller self. You know what I mean? Being.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think like in the like modern day hip hop, there's kind of like I don't know what to call it, but like a lot of artists are just like they are independent, like they don't want to sign to a label and like stuff like that.
Yeah,
so how do you feel about that, like signing to a label?
I totally agree with that. I think I was kind of just more thinking about, right when you said that, I was thinking about Joey Badass.
Yeah.
And like he was talking about how he turned on like a $3 million deal with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And I'm totally, and Chance does it too. You know, it's just I want to own all my music. You know what I mean? I don't want like whatever Sony to come in and be like, you know what, we're gonna take whatever 40%. You know what I mean? It's just for me, I'd rather just have it so it's like I have all this to me, because it's not. If I can, you think about it, it's like everything now, especially with the internet, we have so much at our disposal to do everything ourselves, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, you think about small businesses starting up, they can, who's gonna, like, you gotta prove to other people that you can have fans or you can have customers before some bigger entity is gonna come and want to link up with you. And even at that point, it's like you kind of want to have, like, you don't want to sign over you don't really want to sign over your own like creations to someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's just really, I want to be, I definitely want to go that route unless like someone comes in with I think really what I would want would be like like maybe a promo company to help me out or whatever. Or like Masway was saying how like he basically has 88 Rising, they just really helped him out with like the touring aspect of it, booking shows and booking venues in China and in America.
Yeah.
And that, you know what I mean? That's what it is. And I think because in China, I'm not sure how they can really. I don't think they can claim money on like songs or whatever. It's just kind of how China was always. They were just kind of always in that realm of like illegally downloading. You know what I mean? And just like so it wasn't. You weren't really making money off music. You were making money off because you were an entity, and commercials would come after you because you were well known. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Kind of that. You weren't really there was no sales in music, I think. So I think that for them it was always just about touring money, getting commercials and stuff like that, you know. And I think that's really what it is now too, right? You're not really with streaming. You're only making like fractions of a penny on a play.
Yeah.
So I think I think some independent artists are definitely doing it with like the whole vinyls, cassettes, you know what I mean, that type of thing. I think for me, it's just I probably will do that down the line. I kind of want to build this up to a point where I can kind of just have some leverage with whatever.
Yeah. With
companies, with venues. And another thing too is like in Boston, I think something that I'll say is just that I feel like, and I think maybe other people will probably agree, but it's just the venues. It's a lot of pay to play. You know what I mean? So like you got to sell 40 tickets or whatever to perform.
Yeah.
Some of my friends were doing that. I just feel like for me, I'd rather have them come to me.
For sure.
I'd rather build myself up. Yeah, and really, if you think about it, you're performing in front of like at 8 o'clock or whatever, and there's 10 people in the crowd. How many of them are really going to go check for you?
Yeah.
Afterwards, you know. And I think the thing is too, so I think just if you like the whole Christmas thing we're talking about, they really blew up virally online. You know what I mean? And then middle pieces like Michael Christmas, please come and headline the show or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
Because then you actually have a demand, because there's going to be hundreds of kids that want to actually go see them, instead of like you begging someone to perform or whatever. It's just unless you wow them or whatever. But it's just I just thought about that. Like that's not the most. I was just thinking about the most efficient way to get from point A to point D.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that is really okay. Record at home, get it all done at home, get a video done, put it on IG, run ads, put it on Facebook, run ads. You know what I mean? And then that's how all these fans have come, like, flooding out the gates. It's just crazy, you know.
And I don't even think, like, I mean, like I said earlier, with like just a lot of positive feedback from your fans and stuff, like I don't even think you need a label. Honestly, I think you're doing great by yourself. So
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So
if I do have a label, it's gonna be me, you know. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So "Once Upon a Time in Hollywood" is your most popular song on Apple Music at the moment. So what do you think it is about that? What do you think it is about that track that catches people's attention?
I don't know if that was the case. I think my whole plan, that's my man, Chef Mike.
Yep.
Shout out to Chef Mike.
Yep.
My whole plan was, I'm still trying to operate my own camera. I'm just kind of starting that now. I was going to shoot like a short music video, a short film, based on just my idea of Hollywood, how it kind of like, it was going to be kind of a doppelganger situation, like me being regular Will versus me being Hollywood Will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was going to shoot like a little video of that and then just put it on YouTube, because my whole thing was just to have, I don't know if that's the reason. I think the reason why that might be is because of the movie. And that was my whole kind of idea, trying to get like publicity like that to, right when the movie's coming in, put it out there, and then like maybe people will catch, like people search it and they'll find that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's genius.
That was kind of my plan. Yeah. So it was just kind of like, because I love Tarantino too, but that was just kind of the plan to just try to, I'm just like, all right, I think the thing is too, right now, especially, I mean, yeah, I'm gaining some traction, but like the 6,000 people you see me following me on IG, it doesn't really, it's not always 6,000 people listening to me.
Yeah. Mm.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think the thing is like, I don't know if you guys are into like Russ.
I mean, not super, but like I know of him, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I don't. I gotta catch up on his music too. It's just more for Russ. Like, I think I saw the Joe Budden interview, and he was just talking about how he came up, and he was just he did like 11 albums in like 3 years, but he got like 4,000 followers from that. But it wasn't until he started doing like singles every 2 weeks or whatever that he started to really pop off in like 2015. I think that was the whole thing, was that when you're kind of unknown, like who wants to listen to a whole album of yours? Right? So it's more like you're really I think in today's age, it's really about getting discovered off that one single or a couple singles or whatever. And then because you have the attention, because you have that pull or whatever, then you can release an album and people will actually listen to it and share it or whatever. But nobody, when you're unknown, like you're kind of putting all that effort into 12 songs or whatever, and then maybe like only the first one gets 100 plays and then no one listens to the rest. So it's like you spent whatever 3, 4, 5 months recording that album, you know what I mean, and then trying to promo it, and it ends up being unheard, you know?
Yeah.
So I think the thing is really get that one single, or, you know, record a single, see how it's doing with people, see if it's popping off, and then maybe push that even harder or whatever, and then keep going with singles until you get discovered. I think that's kind of the strategy now, you know?
For sure. And then going back to Chef Mike, I was just peeping his page, and I thought it was super cool that he does like internet radio.
Yeah, exactly. He's a Monday night YouTube show, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, actually, you know what's crazy is that back in January, all right, I started my IG account like a while ago, but I didn't really get on to using it until last year in June. And last year in June, I was just kind of like going crazy, just posting my beats, posting me making beats off my iPhone. And then that gained some traction, but then I started putting out the music videos. That was gaining more traction. And then back in January, I found Chef Mike, and I was just like, yo, this is crazy. And then I think from that, I was like, you know what? Instead of let me try to do this too, because I was mostly thinking about putting out self-produced albums.
Yeah.
But then I thought, like, okay, if I get 11 tracks from 11 different producers, they'll promote it too. So then that's where, like in January, I started. I've gotten all the beats already. So there's this other album that I haven't released yet. Basically, it's called Mega Genesis, but it's 11 different producers. I don't know if you've heard of these producers, but some of them are just strictly boom bap. They sound like a Big L type beats, you know, Lord Finesse type beats.
Yeah.
And then Chef Mike was one of them. And then yeah, just a bunch of them. And some of them are like lo-fi too. You know, they just all over. And I got 11 beats together, and I'm just gonna at a certain point I'm just gonna put it out there and then put it on vinyl too. But I was just thinking, like, you know, 11 people can help me promote this too. You know what I mean?
That's exciting. I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely think it's one of my personal favorites. So I kind of want to. I want to make it so it's like, I want to put it out when I have more of a following on like the Spotify's and the YouTubes and the iTunes. You know, when that gets a little bit bigger, then I'll try to, like, you know, figure out a way to drop that. So.
And then also in that song, like, you call yourself a grandpa to the music business in that song.
Yeah.
So considering your age, do you feel like the clock is kind of like ticking based on what you want to accomplish, or are you're not really stressed out about that?
I have thought about that, and I think that's why I'm going so hard, because I'm 31, you know. I just think that I don't want to be a 40-year-old rookie rapper.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. So I think the thing is, I'm not too concerned just because I've got all these albums ready to go. So, you know, I'll be done. And, like, if I just release all these, it'll be 34. But I'm just looking at, like, even like a West Side Gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Griselda or whatever. I mean, West Side's like 37 now. He started his stuff when he was like 31. You know, 30 out the gate or whatever. So it's not. And 2 Chainz, you know, same situation.
Yeah.
But I think the reason, if I'm being honest, the reason why I did last year, I started last year because I was like, yo, I'm 20. At the time, I was 29. I'm like, I'm 29. I haven't put anything out. I need to go hard, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So you're right. Like, I was like, you know, like, at some point I got to start putting this stuff out. I can't just keep it in or whatever, you know? And so that's where I was like, you know what? Yeah, the time is ticking, because rap is a young man's game. But I think it's probably changing at this point where, you know, Wu-Tang can be 50 and they can be like the Rolling Stones, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Rap is now like the new. Rap is the most popular genre of music now, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't think that it's. But I do think that, like, for example, like, you know, I think someone was talking about, like, what was it, Fish or these rock groups, they perform until they're 60, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
60 plus, whatever. And I think the thing with hip hop is that, like, they don't. I do think that, Wu-Tang is revered, but I do think that people are probably more quicker to hop onto what's hot, what's trending.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So rock is more like, we're still gonna love the Grateful Dead. You know what I mean? Like, just revere them like that. Whereas hip hop is like, oh, you know, Wu-Tang, Nas, like, some of the young kids like Wu-Tang, yo, that's old stuff, you know?
I saw you're in the process of getting some merch. That's pretty sick. So when's that gonna drop?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna use that as a design, but I'm not sure when. I probably should try to be more on top of that. I think right now my whole process was trying to get the singles thing going.
Yeah.
Where I release. So maybe in a month or so I might revisit that. But right now I'm just I recorded one song. I got like, all right. So I was originally gonna release 5 songs in July, August.
Yeah.
But I've decided to break that down into one song every 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
So that's my current kind of, like, because I just don't have time. I'm just going to work, coming back home. I leave the house at like 7 and come back at 7. So I really have like 3-4 hours at home during the weekdays or whatever.
Right.
And then, you know, and then the weekend I have some time. But that's pretty much my process right now, just to get that started. And then, you know, I appreciate it, though. You know, I mean, thank you for wanting that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to call some merch.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
So, we also heard that you're a pretty big Marvel fan. Who's your favorite character?
Oh, man, probably Venom.
Venom. All right.
Yeah, but I love Spider-Man too, you know?
Yeah.
I'd say Spider-Man's probably my favorite.
Yeah. Spider-Man, Venom, Cable.
Okay.
What else is there? I mean, I think personality-wise, I'm more like Hulk.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I just I really am. I just think sometimes, like, maybe even on the microphone, I've become like more aggressive.
Right.
Whereas, like, I try to be just a nicer guy, whatever, just in real life, whatever. But sometimes people just push you to the limit, whatever, you know.
For sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You guys like the? I mean, you guys play a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom, or you just into the movies?
Oh, mostly just the movies. I mean,
Gotcha.
like, I do some like DC, like Injustice type stuff too, but
Or
I really like the movies.
yeah. I don't know if you guys saw, but they just did So this is another kind of like along the lines of like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever. But I wrote this like 2 years ago, whatever. Hands of Shang-Chi.
Okay.
They're doing that's the Marvel character based off of Bruce Lee.
Right, and they're coming out with a new movie. I saw they announced it at Comic-Con.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I wanted to release this early. I should have, but I just my whole process was like, all right, I like this album a little too much. I want to wait a little more. But
Right.
I think this is the next album I'm going to release. It's called Goodwill Shall Come. But I have Hands of Shang-Chi in there. It's kind of a mellowed out beat. It's just more. It sounds like a marching beat, really.
Yeah.
But it's just me spitting darts, Wu-Tang style, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah. So but it's just basic. It's just like kung fu raps, and I'm gonna try to put it out fourth quarter 2019.
Okay.
I want the song to really kind of like marinate with the people, and then hopefully, you know, maybe Marvel will pick it up or whatever.
Oh man,
that'd
that's
be sick.
so cool.
Yeah. So I think that, you know what I mean, I'll just try to, at that point, maybe in like a year, I might be a little bigger, might have more leeway or whatever, and be like, yo, I'm an Asian American artist.
Mm-hmm.
Can you know what I mean? Like, this would be awesome, because they're not, Hollywood's not really, I mean, I think I was kind of reading about it, whatever, success of Black Panther and the success of Crazy Rich Asians or whatever, and they were like, you know what, we got to hit home with the Asians, because
Right.
now it's like Crazy Rich Asians did well domestically. It wasn't just, Chinese people watching it, American people watching it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that that's where I just gotta kind of try to like really try to take advantage of that opportunity, maybe, you know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
And then I saw.
And I think, like, honestly,
Oh, my bad.
I'm just listening back to the beat or whatever, and I think it's a nice intro beat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like when the Marvel letters come in and like the flashing of the comics. Or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
right?
I know what you mean.
It might be, yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I saw a couple of videos you performed at the JP Pork Fest. How did that get arranged?
Yeah. So my guys, some of the beats you've seen, I've really only produced for my man Who's That on Ballverse and DVDs, and I also produced for my guys Phonetics. Shout out to Stress and Noodles.
Hey.
They have a Hunger Pains EP. 6 songs, whatever, all produced by me. And so I've known them for, man, I don't know, 5, 6 years. 4, 5, 6 years. I've just been sending them beats. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? But I was just always in the background making beats for them.
For sure.
So they were always, and I would spit for them sometimes, like, yo, you want to come and spit? You know, you want to come in? Because they were kind of just trying to be performing more, you know? They would be at the Middle East, open them for like Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? Kind of like they would do their own thing at certain venues or whatever, and they
That's cool.
you know, have me come through and like, yo, you want to spit? And I'm like, nah, probably not today or whatever. But then and then that day they're just kind of like, yo, come through, you know what I mean? Just and then what's crazy, I don't know if you guys know, like, Rex. It's a rapper from Lawrence.
Okay.
I think some other artists were there, and so it was just kind of like I got to really connect with them. I really got to show them, you know what I mean, what I'm capable of or whatever, you know.
For sure.
So that was dope too. It was just, I think, you know, this whole process, just this whole year of me just kind of like getting my foot in the door. I always thought, like, maybe that's just you kind of just on the outside looking in. You don't think you can play with people like that. You think that you're probably on the freshman team. You can't play with the varsity.
Right,
But I
yeah.
think that, like, yeah, I think that I kind of can play with the varsity. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's not so far off where I'm like, you know what, I'm only JV. But
Right.
I think that's where this is kind of like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? I can kind of, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
For sure.
Play with the big kids.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And you talk a lot about meditation in your music, especially on The Rich Beggar, which is super cool. How did you get introduced to that technique?
So I've actually had some like health issues. So that kind of just actually what I figured out was it was like mercury poisoning.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so it was just more I don't know, maybe, I mean, obviously some people have higher intake, whatever, they can kind of handle more, whatever. But I just probably have like a weaker detox. My liver's not as strong, whatever.
Right.
So I had like these amalgam fillings or whatever in my mouth. So if you guys have any, please take them out. Yeah. I mean, a lot of your parents probably have them, but I would just suggest because they were using that a lot in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, instead of like white fillings or whatever. But I think that's
scary.
I got those taken out, and I got those taken out literally the next day. A lot of my health issues went away.
Dang.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Well, yeah. So, but during the time, I just picked up more. I think at the time, doctors didn't know what was going on, and I was having all these weird symptoms or whatever, and they were just like, I don't know what's going on. And at that time, I was just like, let me try to figure out. Instead of like going through Western medicine, I started picking up more Eastern medicine, and I think that's where, I just started learning a lot more about herbs, natural substances that, you know what I mean, instead of just depending on pills, because these pills have all these side effects, you know what I mean, and they're just really quick fixes. They're not going to get you to your root cause.
Right.
And I think and me being Chinese, I started linking up with a lot of these some of them are massage therapists, some of them have their own herbal shops or whatever, and they really just teach you a lot in terms of just how you can take care of your body without, all these Western practices, because it's not always right. It's not always right, you know what I mean, to just get yourself on these pills or get surgery or whatever, you know what I mean? There's not like a concrete answer. Yeah.
For sure.
And meditation really helped me just relax certain parts of my body, so I think that, so it was just, I would definitely advise to try it out, at least for everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on your first album, Realize, See You For You, the song Love Yourself really stuck out to me because you talk about accepting like loving yourself before truly being able to like love other people. And I think like a lot of people like struggle with that and like not being able to have that confidence in themselves and like love themselves. So I'm just like curious, how did you gain that confidence in like personal love?
Thank you, man. So I think what was crazy was, I don't think that I think my parents, they didn't really know how to love,
Yeah.
Them being, they grew up really poor in China, so their only hope they thought was education. So that's what they knew. That's how they got out of China. They were just like, oh, we're trying to get out of this communist country, and I think that, but even though when they came over to America and they're just pursuing that, I think they instilled, that's all they really thought about with me. You know what I mean? It wasn't about showing love to me or whatever. So I think that growing up, there was definitely some, just abuse going on in the household. But I think that for me, that's why when I got to college, I really just did my own kind of research in terms of, and I think that personally for me, that's why, I'll just say here, I think I got to college, I was really depressed. I didn't know what was going on, you know what I mean? But I think at the bottom core, I didn't know who I was. I didn't really, I just didn't know how to love myself either,
Yeah.
But I think that through time, I think what I've learned is, I think just really being okay with me, being okay with, and I think the thing is really just to really care about others,
Yeah.
I think that's what, I think at the time I needed to just really kind of, I'll be honest, I think when I was 19, 20, mentally I think that's where my rock bottom was. But and that was the best though, because I needed to, I think here's what it was. I think that for me in high school, I was just kind of a house. The analogy I use, a house with a very weak foundation.
Uh-huh.
So when I got to college, it just kind of like the house blew over.
Yeah.
And I had to really start from scratch and just build up who I was. And I think when I realized is when you build up your principles, your morals, your values, that's where you can really love yourself. You know, you can't love like a facade. You can't love an image of yourself. You really got to love those morals. You know,
Uh-huh.
like, you know, I think that's where it comes from. Is like, I mean, yeah, that song was really directed at someone. I'm not going to name her name or anything, but
Uh-huh.
I think that she goes around and needs all this love and attention from guys because deep down she doesn't feel okay with herself, you know?
Yeah.
And she's not okay, like, she just needs that constant affirmation from guys to tell her that she's okay.
Yeah.
But the real cure to that is just learning to be accepting of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and just be okay with your shortcomings, but also But I think part of it is also you got to just work on. I really think that part of it's really like being responsible, just caring about other people, though. You know,
Uh-huh.
I do think you have to like have that love inside of you, and not just, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to like love other people too. You know,
For sure.
I don't know if I'm totally making sense here.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
So, your
But
second
it-
album. Oh, sorry. You can keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is just it's not so much self-love in terms of like I love myself more than everybody else.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's more just I love myself for shortcomings and I accept other people for the shortcomings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like seeing yeah.
So, do you think like that kind of mindset comes from like your Buddhist religion?
Yeah, definitely.
Uh-huh.
I think that, but I think also I think also a concept that I've taken more is to want to give more than to receive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that yeah, you know what I mean? I think that that's something I guess too. Because I think like that Buddhist, like when you think of like the Dalai Lama, like
Yeah.
who dislikes the Dalai Lama?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like you know, you got to be like a because he's just. I think when you I think part of that transition, love yourself. I think it's more also just about being a mature adult.
Yeah.
Whereas like if I show someone love, or if I really care about someone and I'm willing to, I think this comes from my mom because my mom sacrifices so much for me, and she like literally she'll drop anything for me. You know what I mean? So I think that type of love, when I see that, I just realize like what love really is, right?
Yeah.
And I think that I think from that it's just like when you do that for someone, when you are so protective, so sacrificial for someone, they'll feel that no matter what. And I think that's what the whole giving and taking less. I mean, I always want to give 51, at least always give 51 and take 49.
Yeah.
And I was going to tell you this too. I was going to tell you this, guys. I don't know if you guys are into Gary Vaynerchuk.
Not familiar with him. Sorry.
Okay. He's just more about growing your brand type of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's on that tip. I don't know if you guys want to get into that, but that's where I've also picked up so much from him, just in terms of not just like how to carry yourself in a business situation, but he also talks about his daily thought process in terms of like, you know, giving more than you take, you know?
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that though. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
You guys are trying to grow your show as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that in that sense, you know what I mean? Like he talked about too, just like get on every medium. Like I see you guys on YouTube, on SoundCloud, you know?
Oh yeah.
And just yeah. So it's just he talked about that too, where it's like, you know, IG, YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. You know, and just get on every medium, and because you know some of your fans are not going to be on IG, they're going to spend most of their time on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So your second album, The Rich Beggar, is your most recent album that you dropped earlier this year. What was the overall theme of that project, and like kind of what was your mindset like going into that?
Yes. So I was thinking about that too. I wrote this in 2016, like Labor Day weekend or whatever. But some of it was written before, whatever. My whole process was just at the time, you know, I'm not very wealthy financially, but I think that through through just my quest for knowledge and just, you know, of course, just like I told you, like learning all these herbs and, you know, meditation, all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm rather rich in spirit and brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not. So that's where kind of like the rich beggar. You know, because essentially I'm still trying to make ends meet. You know what I mean? So I'm just not. Yeah, so I think that's where that stems from. But I think I flipped it too later on when I thought about it. Whereas I spent so much time in my teens, in my 20s, trying to learn about just psychology, whatever, just sociology and stuff like that. That I didn't spend as much time chasing money.
Yeah.
But there's people out there that don't spend the time to really enrich themselves in knowledge of self. And learning to love yourself, we're learning to whatever, you know what I mean? So they don't spend any time doing that and to dissecting their personal lives, but they spend a lot of time chasing money. So they end up being rich, but in terms of their own mental health, they're still a beggar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And their spiritual health, they're still a beggar. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So it kind of works both ways, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So, like,
it's like it's just crazy just how much insight like you've given us, and just like how I feel like you're like very smart, and like you know what you're talking about, and like you had a lot of life experiences. Like I think you're kind of like the rap guru in a way, kind of.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man.
So
yeah, growing up, I really like gurus. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So on the album The Rich Beggar, there's a song Felicia, which I like.
Yeah.
So is she a fiction?
Marvel.
So that's the Marvel character.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Based off Felicia Hardy. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Black Hat. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that album. It's great.
Thank you, man. But that song, like right there, I mean, the way I was writing in 2015, 2016, I always wanted to kind of throw in like a movie twist at the end.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I wrote that. It was just kind of a build-up of a girl or whatever. That I mean, it's not a specific girl or whatever. It's just more, or just whatever. But basically, at the end, I'm like, all right, at the beginning of the first verse, I'm like, she got a sixth sense the way she vibed with me. And then at the end, I'm like, but is she really real? Because I see dead people.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that.
So like, yeah. Because in Sixth Sense, you know, Bruce Willis is actually one of these dead people. So, yeah.
Yeah, the M. Night Shyamalan. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. I was gonna ask you about that exact quote, actually.
Yeah,
straight up.
Yeah.
So we'll probably wrap it up. We got a couple more questions, but
yeah, sure.
What would you say like your favorite song that you made so far is?
Man. That you guys heard, right? Not the ones.
Say that
I
one
mean,
more
I think it's
time.
like that you've heard so far, right? Not the ones that I have in store or whatever.
It could even be that too.
Okay. I mean, I think that I like In Your Ear a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's awesome. In Your Ear. I mean, I think there's 4 songs really. In Your Ear, Stupid Nice, Smooth Butter, and Drunken Monk.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so those 4. I don't know if I can name one, but
that's sick.
Yeah.
So I know you said you got a couple albums dropping and all that. So what else is next for EsCargo?
I'm just really trying to break through Spotify. I mean, I think I've broken through IG a little bit. I'm just trying to break through Spotify and other platforms or whatever. Because I think that's where they're really going to find me. Because I think the thing is, you know, if you're spending a lot of your time on IG, you're not spending your time on Spotify.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's more just trying to really tackle that. Because at the end of the day, I'm making music. I'm not making, comedy skit videos. You know, so I think that's where I'm trying to focus my time on right now. But yeah, I got the albums I got going on. So this 5-song EP I got was supposed to be. It was called G, but I'm gonna break it down in 5 songs. NMFBA is the first song on the release. And it's gonna be either Game or Throne. So it's yeah, that's 3 right there. Hustle's another one, and then and I forget the last one. But then I'm also gonna do a remix to Junior Mafia, Get Money.
Okay.
Hey.
And yeah, I think I put that up on as a video, IG video, for the ladies or whatever. But it's called Sexy. We call it Sexy Curves or Deadly Curves or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's just gonna be talking about a girl or whatever. And I think what I've noticed too is that I think that the ladies are they just like something about me. So I'm definitely
Ladies,
kind of yeah. So I'm gonna try to cater to them more like in an LL way. You know, I think LL kind of transitioned from just boom bap spitting to becoming like an R&B rapper. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I'm gonna try to add that element to me too, because I'm just trying to grow this. I'm not trying to just stay stagnant and just make it for. Because you think about Drake, how he got there is he targeted women. I mean, started going after the women.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep doing boom bap just because I love this art form so much. I don't want it to die. I think that a lot of people, it's kind of just, you know, they're just kind of like, oh, you know what, it's over or whatever. But I still love it. It's just so much fun. I think there's ways to kind of make it more, ways to improve on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just, you know, just long sentences, whatever. It's just more like, okay, I can make, like, I think the reason why trap is so catchy is because people rap on the beat. You know what I mean? It's like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Kind of like,
Right. Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's more just making boom bap kind of like that instead of like, you know, trying to fit in like run-on sentences in your bars.
Yeah.
It's more just make it more like, you know, like compact, but also like every word hits on a beat. You know what I mean? Instead of like, yeah. But so I got those coming, and then I got Goodwill Shall Come, which I've like done some of the songs renditions, like you see some of the IG videos where I perform live or whatever in front of my computer or whatever.
Yeah.
So some of those are on there. Goodwill Shall Come, and then I try to go Mega Genesis where it's like 11 producers. Goodwill Shall Come again, all produced by me. Mega Genesis. And the first album I ever wrote, I think it's like my life's work, really. It's like my Illmatic, because I spent 10 years writing that. It's called Great Son. That's going to come at some point. But that I was about to record in 2015. I just never got to it.
Yeah.
Great Son. And then I got one called Red Rum on the Red Line. It's like a murder mystery. It's really going to be like I'm going to call it a rap noir, but it's really like a film noir.
That's so cool.
It's going to be like literally a mystery. I like literally have 8 tracks. It's every song is kind of like a mystery. It's like an act 1, act 2, act 3 mystery, and then so it's just, I don't know if you guys are into like the old 50s film noir, like Chinatown or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you know what I mean? Just like detective style type of song, type of album.
That's cool.
And then I think the last one I have is called Rebirth. And that's me kind of rapping. Last year I started making more like trap boom bap. So essentially trap tempo, because, you know, boom bap is really 90 beats, like 80 to 90 beats per minute. Trap is like, you know, sometimes 120, 130, 140.
Yeah.
But I was using still boom bap drums and samples, but just trap tempo. You know what I mean? And so some of that, and of course there's going to be boom bap on there, but I was just trying to experiment with that. So that, I'm going to call that Rebirth.
Exciting times.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much music you have. That is crazy.
Yeah. I've just been storing it, and now I'm really just shocked at the responses I'm getting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just really a hobby. It's just really a passion or whatever. And now it's become something more, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Will EsCargo. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. And
it was such a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Talking to you.
And I feel like you gave us a lot of insight too. Like,
thank you, man.
Just a lot of detail, and really went into detail with it.
Thank you, man. Definitely. I'm always trying to do that. And dude, don't worry. I'm always gonna repost you guys.
Hey.
In the stores, whatever.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Any track you post, I'm reposting it straight up.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man. Definitely. I mean, so what it is, you know.
Yeah. We just really
Yeah.
appreciate the legitimacy that you are. Like, you're a real person, completely
Thank you, man.
honest. Yeah.
And I think that's missing today, you know, with all this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
like
All the
people-
masks. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and just trying to get in the industry, trying to make money, whatever. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this, like, I think overall, just in this capitalist society, when you kind of just, you know, I think the whole thing is like, you know, if you're in a room with 10 people and everyone's kind of stingy and doesn't want to donate or whatever, and because they know that, okay, we have to do this thing, although it requires a lot of money, nobody wants to
Right.
put their money in. Somebody has to go in first. If somebody stands up and says, you know what, this is the right thing to do, I'm going to put forth this money.
Mhm.
I think that the people in that room will realize that this is the mature guy. We gotta start doing that as well, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of philosophy I'm trying to take on, you know.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, EsCargo. We really appreciate it.
thank you, man. Appreciate this, man.
All right. Well, take care.
All right, man. You too, man.
We'll see you.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace.
And there you have it.